Ever since Michael shared the spotlight with the Jackson Other Four, there were always two more Jacksons waiting just off stage, sharing and reveling in the success of their children. Tonight, on the eve of Michael's trial, Catherine and Joe Jackson are holding out hope and holding their breath.
I can't sleep at night. I do a lot of praying. I can't talk too much about the case, but I know my son, and this is ridiculous. We have a lot of wicked people out there, and they know what they're doing. I can't say anything else.
Michael Jackson's parents sat down for an exclusive talk with international interviewer Daphne Barak. 48 Hours obtained the rights to the interview, which was conducted recently over 2 days at the couple's Las Vegas home.
Are you scared for Michael if things would go wrong because he's so vulnerable?
All I know is he's a good kid, and he's done right all his life. And he always treat other people right.
Are you worried still about the outcome?
Well, quite naturally, being a mother, you're going to worry. I'd love to say that justice prevails, but people are wicked and Satan's busy.
They were ordered by the judge in Michael's trial not to discuss the case, but they were willing to talk about the son they raised.
We know our son. We know that he's not a pedophile like some of these newscasters are saying. That is not true.
Joe and Catherine have been married for 56 years, and it has been quite a ride. Their kids have sold millions of records and have brought the family both fame
I'd like to thank my mother and father.
and shame. But the parents remember a time before Michael Jackson was a household name in households other than his own.
When Michael and I used to sit down and watch television, and we used to see the children in Africa, flies around their mouth. You remember that? They were just dying. And he'd sit there with tears streaming down his face. He said, Mother, one day I'm going to do something about that. My son would never hurt a child. He loved children too much.
The Jacksons like to talk about old times, when Michael and his siblings were known only for their performances on stage.
How was he off stage? Was he shy?
He was shy, and when they were young, when company come, he said, come on out, boys, and sing for him or something, and they didn't want to do it. Even the relatives, they didn't want, they were too shy.
When you put him in front of 50,000 people, he's at home.
But now Michael Jackson finds himself center stage in a drama nobody would ever want a part in, and no parent would ever want to watch.
When they took him down to the jail, and when I saw him put handcuffs on him, that hurt worse than anything else.
Those years of investigations, those very public raids on Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch, have made the Jacksons angry at a prosecutor some critics describe as almost giddy.
Well, we haven't ruled anything out.
They were jumping up and down. We got him. We finally got him. You know, that was hard for me as a mother, to see how people felt about my son when I knew he's a better person than they are. And he's jumping up and down and saying something like that, like my son had killed somebody or something.
The Jacksons are reluctant to get into detail about what they think motivates the people attacking their son.
Come on. You don't want me to answer that, do you?
No, don't answer it.
They say money is one factor, a big factor, but not the only one.
Shall I?
No, Jill, just shut up. Stop it.
People have made some noise. It might be about racism. What do you think?
It is racism. It is. Catherine's not going to say it, but I will say it. It is racism.
Jackson's parents have had to endure all the reports about their son's relationship with children since the 1993 incident involving this young boy who said Michael abused him.
You're a very smart man. I mean, when you saw that he was hanging around children and there were rumors, why didn't you take him to a father-son conversation and say, hey, Michael...
There's nothing wrong with them, the kids coming over. Definitely, I'm getting off of this.
Why didn't you take him and alert him?
He hasn't done nothing wrong, so why should I? Okay. Chastise him about stuff like that. Wasn't nothing wrong.
No, I didn't say
the
that.
People were bringing their kids there, the families, mothers and fathers, and they were bringing their kids there. I don't like that question.
But there have been questions about how Michael Jackson was brought up.
My childhood was completely taken away from me.
Specifically, whether Joe Jackson was too strict with his children.
In being strict, you were able to control.
I don't think he was too strict at all, because where we came from, Gary, Indiana, it's the murder capital of the world.
In fact, Joe Jackson says he wouldn't change anything.
We didn't make no mistakes. We didn't make no mistakes.
Joe, don't say that. You don't know.
I don't make no mistake. I was feeding them every day. They had food in their hands, so it was Papa that kept food on the table for them. I did that. I did my part.
Almost everything Michael does now is fodder for the tabloids and the comedians.
It's the kind of thing that could get this guy a reputation as being an oddball.
Particularly when he seems to change his appearance. The evolution of his face is the subject of a website animation.
Do you know how many plastic surgery is done to actors and actresses in Hollywood? How many operations did Michael have? 1 or 2?
I don't know, Joe, and I don't even want to talk about it.
Me and Janet really are two different people.
All the stories about his bizarre behavior and changing appearance have earned Michael Jackson a nickname no one would ever want for themselves. Wacko Jacko has become the shorthand headline way of referring to Joe and Catherine Jackson's son.
How could they call him Wacko? They sold more records than anybody in show business history.
They think he's weird. He's not that wacko. To be #1 in the world.
After Michael dangled his infant son out of a hotel window in 2002, authorities in California wondered if he might be more than wacko. Just a few months ago, child welfare officials made a surprise inspection at his ranch to check on the welfare of his children. Catherine Jackson, the children's grandmother, now says she was also there.
I went to visit Michael, not knowing that Child Services was there. That was a surprise to me when they told me he was there, and I imagine they surprised Michael, too, and everyone else in the house.
The authorities left the children with their father, but Catherine is still angry.
It was a horrible feeling to think they were there and trying to take away my grandchildren. That's terrible.
It's been a terrible time for the Jacksons since they first heard the charges against their son read out in court.
It's going to be very difficult for you, I mean, for a mother to hear this kind of stuff.
It's been difficult.
I know it's been difficult all the time because I know what they're trying to do, and I know him, and he does not deserve what's going on.
When someone in the dark reaches...
It is Michael who's being tried, but it's his parents who've already been tested.
What people don't know, they don't know him, they don't even know what they're talking about. But they have to remember there's a family out there that love that person they're lying on and talking about, and especially a mother. And she have feelings, and she love her children. And they should think about what they're doing before they get on television, telling all the lies. And you reap what you sow. What goes around comes around. People have to be very careful of what they do and say.